Right, P4, let's go over what we looked at in the last video, which is looking at the verb be. And we said most verbs in English are words that say what you do, like write, sleep, read, listen, dance, sing, run, jump. But a small number of verbs, like the verb be, don't say what you're doing, but they are very, very important. And this is the most important verb in English. So let's look at it now. The verb be, if we're talking now, today, then we have to use what we call the present tense of be. And the present tense of be is am, are, and is. And in English, when we look at verbs, the verb and the subject means who or what we're talking about. The verb and the subject must go together. So when we're using the verb be, if the subject is I, then it must go with am. If the subject is you, it must go with are. If the subject is one person or one thing, it goes with is. If the subject is more than one, then it goes with are. Okay? So the subject and the verb must always go together. So if we're saying yes, then we just use this in the present tense. I am hungry. You are listening. It is sunny. We are happy. Then, also with the verb be, we need to be able to say no. And to say no, all we do is we put not after the verb be. I am not happy. You are not listening. It is not sunny. Okay? And then, the last thing we need to do is to make a question. And to make a question, we put the verb be before the subject. So the question becomes, am I? Are you? Is she? Are they? And whenever we have a question with the verb be, beginning with am, are, or is, the answer will always be yes or no. Am I hungry? Yes, I am. Are you listening? No, you are not. Or yes, you are. Now, if we're talking about yesterday, or last week, or last year, then we have to change and use what we call the past tense. When we're talking about something that is finished already. And the past tense of the verb be becomes was or were. And again, look, we have to have the verb and the subject going together. The subject is I was. I was hungry yesterday. You were, he, she, or it was, and we and they were. Okay? And again, to say no, we just put not after the verb. I was not hungry. You were not listening. She was not happy. They were not singing. And again, if we want to make a question, and it's the same again, we put the verb be in front of the subject. Was I, were you, was she, were we, and so on. So that's if we're talking about yesterday, last week, last year, last month, we use the past tense. So that's the verb be. How to say yes, how to say no, how to make a question. Now let's go over here and do a little bit of practice. We're on student book 44. I'm looking at the top. So what have we got? We've got the days, and we've got a list of countries, and we've got a list of feelings. And what I want you to do is use this to practice the verb be. So here, look, choose the country and put them in here. Up to you, you can choose. You can put whatever country anywhere you like. And then choose feelings and put in 6 feelings, any feelings, any there. I've done 2, look there, I've put England and Italy, okay? So, we can then use this to practice. First, say yes. On Monday, I was in England. I was cold. On Tuesday, I was in Italy. I was hungry. And so on. And then we can say no. On Monday, I was not in Italy. I wasn't hot. On Tuesday, I was not in England. I wasn't sleepy. And then make a question. The question will be, was I? Was I in England on Monday? Yes, I was. Was I cold? Yes, I was. Was I in India on Tuesday? No, I wasn't. Was I happy? No, I wasn't. I was hungry. So put those countries in there, put the feelings in there, and then see if you can say yes and no and make a question. So like again, yeah. I was in India on Friday. I was sleepy. I was not in Kenya on Tuesday. I was not bored. And then make a question. Was I was I hot? Was I bored? Use that to practice. Now, the last thing, let's look at this little bit here. Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Now, let's move to the whiteboard. So, all of these are questions. You can see there's a question mark in every one. So they're all questions. So we know that we're going to have to put be first and then the subject. And then if it's a country, we say in England, in Italy. If it's a day, we say on Monday, on Tuesday. So we can use that to do the questions. Easy way to do it, let's number them. So, fun trip was your. So let's have a look. We need the verb be first, and then the subject. So it's going to be, the verb be was. What are we talking about? Your trip. So that will be 2 and 3, and that will be 4. Was your trip fun? Was. What are we talking about? Your trip fun. Okay, number 2. Kenya question mark were in on Friday you. Okay, let's use the same thing here. First, the verb be. So were will be number 1. Then, who are we talking about? Subject, you. Were you. And then, in Kenya on Friday, 1 to 6. And then the question mark will be 7, won't it? Were you in Kenya on Friday, question mark. Then number 3, you during question mark your were hot trip. So let's go to here. Question must be were first. Who are we talking about? You. So were you hot during your trip? Were you hot during your trip? See if you can do 4 and 5, okay? Start with be, and then the subject, and then in for the country, on for the day. So, that's it. Student book 44. Do a little bit of practice here, saying yes, no, and question, using was and were. And then see if you can put these in the right order. Number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.